Talk Real Estate with Sharon McNamara, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services.
Hi, I'm Sharon McNamara, and you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Let me share a little bit about my background before we get started. I am the broker-owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, a boutique real estate firm that is home to over 30 real estate sales and marketing consultants who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my real estate team member, Mary Baker, and I, along with the director of Boston Connect Real Estate, Melissa Wallace, provide you with our unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We like to mix it up sometimes, so not only will you hear our perspective on real estate topics, but you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of some of our real estate agents at Boston Connect Real Estate and the preferred professionals that we trust. Be part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We'd love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team or one of the dedicated agents at Boston Connect Real Estate to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with us at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate. To all my South Shore neighbors, you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable here with my crew. I have Mary Baker. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. And we have the one and only Mel's Bells. How are you?
Hello.
Hi. Yes. Yay. And we're all here tonight, which is nice because, well, we've been, the three of us have been pretty much.
We're the three best friends that anyone ever had.
Today is, it's either national or international, whatever. Best Friends Day.
Oh, well, that's nice.
High fives, ladies.
Perfect. Hello. And Melissa bought us T-shirts. I don't know if everybody on Facebook.
Mary and I, last year, Dustin has one. If Dustin's watching or listening, he has one too. And it says, "I like the wine, not the label." So if you are a Schitt's Creek fan,
which everybody should
like
be.
Mary and I are, there's my spirit animal, David Rose. It's a scene with him, and it has to do with
LGBTQ.
Yep. So with it being Pride Month, we thought that we would bust these bad boys out and wear it on the show, and
If you haven't watched it, watch it.
Yeah, if you haven't watched the show, watch it because
I have a lot of pride wearing my shirt, my Pride shirt.
I wore mine all day, sweating profusely outside. I went to
gardening.
Not gardening. I just picked out the flowers, but I think they look pretty nice.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so I went to Sunshine Garden something in Kingston, and they had a really great selection. So if you're looking for flowers, go over there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate you doing that. You do such a good job, and everything looks beautiful. So if you want to see what our office looks like, you can always visit us. We're right in Pembroke Center, even though we service all of the South Shore here at Boston Connect Real Estate, who is the proud sponsor of Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Come on by. If you're in the center of town, just swing in. So
we like visitors.
Yeah, we love visitors. And we had somebody swing in 2 weeks ago today, about 15 minutes before the show went live.
Yeah.
He knew where we could be found on Tuesdays.
Yeah. Well, he said that he listens to the show, and we were like, all right, well, we can have a quick chat, and then we're going to go do the show.
So he is listening tonight, and he is actually going to be calling in, and his name is John. He just lives on one of the local South Shore towns. So he said that he wanted to come on in, and he wanted to discuss the possibility of putting his house on the market. And so we just thought that this would be a nice, because when I met with him, I've met with him twice now. And we text all the time because we're friends. And so
we're now best friends.
And I said, you should come on the show with us and just tell us about your experience. And I want to let you know, I haven't asked him what his experience was yet. So he could come on literally at 6:30 and say, That was the worst experience.
Was the worst thing.
The worst experience I ever had in my entire life.
Yeah.
So, but we just don't know if he's going to say that. And if he is, hey, we're all about positive criticism. It will only make us better for our next client, right?
Yeah. And it just so happened that, when he did come into our office, it was a busy night. I mean, it was nighttime too. So like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Came in, and there were two other agents here. One was Sue Bollinger, who is a full-time agent here. And she was doing an analysis for one of her clients. And then Susan Solis was downstairs in the basement doing a Zoom meeting. So, everybody's utilizing the office.
And I was wrapping up.
You were wrapping up yours. Mary was, dealing with some buyers in her office. And I was just like, all right, where am I going to put all these people?
But wait, wasn't it exciting to have people?
It was. I took pictures of Sue and Susan, so
yeah,
that was fun. But yeah, so hopefully he has some great things to say. But this is sort of different for us because we always get all the time. We hear you on the radio and all this stuff. But and we can sit here and tell all of you listening to us what the process is. But unless you go through it yourself, you won't really know what it's like. It's definitely an experience that you have to experience to really fully get it.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to get on Facebook. So if anybody has any questions, you want to let people know how they can get in touch with us tonight?
Yeah. So you can give us a call at the studio. Ben is waiting patiently by the phone for somebody to call him. 781-837-4900. You can text Sharon because she's super famous down here on the South Shore. So you can call her or text her at 781-294-4848. And we're also live on Facebook. So you can, go to McNamara Broker Team. You can go to Boston Connect Real Estate. You can friend request Sharon Costa McNamara and comment on our video there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so do we want to sort of jump into a little bit of what we're going to be talking about before John joins us? It's a follow-up to last week's show. So the reason why John is coming on and giving his experience with our team so far is because last week we talked about should I stay or should I go? So we wanted to follow up with that because it's a question that John is asking himself now. Should I stay in my home or should I go? And that prompted him to sort of reach out to us and sort of start that locomotive.
Do you want to tell our listeners some of the key points we hit upon last week when we were talking about this subject?
Yeah. So, first is, what are the main reasons for wanting to move? And it could be a lifestyle change. So you're getting married or divorced. There's been death. There's, relocation for work. You're right sizing, retiring. There's so many different reasons why somebody would want to move. And
taking advantage of this market.
Yeah, taking advantage of this market if you can. I mean, some people, have more than one home. So they might have a vacation home somewhere or a second home somewhere, and they're able to sort of transition to that second home and make it their full-time location. So that's a reason. So the first question is, what are the reasons for wanting to move? But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to read too. So,
because you didn't do the agenda tonight.
I didn't do the agenda, so I'm a little thrown off here. So what is the upside of selling right now? So what would you guys say? Obviously the market is strong.
I mean, the ups for selling right now is that, people are getting, emotional value right now, which is, that's one of the more difficult aspects of me doing analysis for people right now is really helping them understand how I get to the number of the value of their house and really staying at that number, because some people are like, doesn't that seem low? Yeah, but we really have to price it according to the comparisons that we have. So there's a part of me that just feels like instead of using 6 months comps, should we be using 3 month comps? Because those are higher, but like the appraisers are going to use the 6 months.
Yeah, I think you have to take into consideration the bigger picture, but and it's a lot of our under agreement properties. So I think it's low in comparison to what people are hearing, right? So if you're using your, 6 months ago sold comps, and we're using up to 6 months. So that's kind of the swing. And then also future forecasting what the under agreement properties are going to do. So that is taken into consideration, but that can always change. So you really need to price accordingly to your solds and then let the under agreements help you out later on down the road.
Something that just popped into my head is like, okay, so take, Herringbrook for an example. We received 40 offers on it. And I think we already
I'm tired just thinking about
we
that.
sort of already, talked about it's not just about the number, the price that's on the offer. It's about the contingencies. So, somebody could have offered, say I put 123 Main Street on the market for 500,000, but somebody wanted it so bad that they offered $1 million for it. Okay. So that's what one person would have paid for it, but maybe their contingencies didn't make it so they could
Maybe
purchase
that's
it.
a feasible
So,
offer.
the seller accepted something that was lower. So like, those are things that like, appraisers don't know. It's like somebody would have paid this, X amount of dollars for it. So, and I'm just bringing it up because, some of our agents, they sort of have questioned what number that they landed on and was sort of weary about, is this going to appraise? So when they meet the appraiser, they've brought every single offer that they received on it. And, they can say, hey, yeah, we were on the market for X amount of dollars, but I got 10 offers and every single one of them were over. So these are what are sort of driving the buyers. And this is the reason why everything is sort of going so over.
Yep.
Certainly.
Yes, absolutely. Emotional value. It's just sort of, and it's nothing I can predict. I mean, there might be one house where people get very emotional about, and then there's another house that people are not so emotional about. They're emotional in the opposite way. Like, I'm not for me. So, what time do we have? Because I know that our caller is going to, we still have a few minutes actually to keep on discussing what we talked about last week.
And he is on the line.
Oh, he is on the line. All right. Well, we're going to finish up some of our thoughts here. Should I stay or should I go? Any other follow-ups to that?
Well, I see here, who does the market benefit the most? So, it not necessarily like is a buyer or a seller, but like in what scenarios could each of them benefit?
Yeah. I think from a seller perspective, I'll take that, Mary, as always.
As always.
Yeah. So from a seller perspective, I feel, sellers who have another home to go to or another place to go to, whether that's, maybe a home that they own, maybe they're snowbirds and they have some place down in Florida, or maybe they can just stay with family. Those people, in my opinion, are in the best position right now because they can take advantage of these higher numbers that people are giving. And I feel like the numbers are going to stay high for a while because these comps, now that we're selling them, they're going to be good for 6 months. So,
yeah, so you're just going into a higher time the next 6 months going forward. So that's why a lot of people, I think, hear us say, when do you think the market's going to, or they ask, when do you think the market's going to cool down? And we're like, well, not anytime soon, because right now we've kind of been along for the ride, but those comps are going to become truer as they sell.
Yeah. So our sold comps, emotional valued sale comps will be the value of our listings coming up for the next 6 months. But I feel that we probably will see a slowdown of going over that number.
I am already seeing on my side, working with the buyers, less competing offers than we were seeing previously. So where it was 27 offers, 30 offers, 17, those numbers have kind of dwindled down to 10, 5, 8, like somewhere in that realm, which we like to see. I mean, every less offer is a better fighting percentage or chance for our buyers, but
these offers right now, like these closings that we're going to have in the next couple of months, are really they're dictating what our fall market is going to be and the prices at what price they're going to be at. But that's my prediction. We've been pretty good with our predictions. I predict that we will see less paying way over asking.
I hope so.
Come fall.
The last thing that I want to talk about before we move on to John is, who's having the most difficulties in this market? Is it buyers who don't have a larger down payment? Like what do you guys see is who's having the most difficulty in this market?
I would say from it's almost even market for me, in my opinion, with the buyers who are your FHA, mass housing, lower down payment, maybe a 3% or a 5% buyer. And potentially some of the buyers that need help with their closing costs to get into like the kind of, not necessarily even just your first time home buyer, but that tends to be the demographic that we see there because they didn't sell the house and gain equity or anything like that. They're kind of just starting out. So those buyers I'm just putting out there, like below a 350 price point, even for condos, they're really, really struggling right now, especially in the South Shore in the market that we're primarily operating in, because prices are so inflated and it's heavily inundated with a lot of buyers. And it's really hard to compete against the buyers who have been able to save money through the pandemic.
Yeah, and it's funny because we've been talking about this, it seems like all year now, but it's sad because here we are, and as a listing agent, I do it. I mean, Michelle Fay ended up getting several offers. I think she ended up with maybe 19 offers or something.
19?
I think, wasn't it?
So.
Around there. Anyways, yeah, for her
Congrats,
Cynthia
Michelle. That's insane.
Road
That's
listing that she got. And, going through those offers, it's, there's so much you have to do, like, weighing your options with those. But it's interesting how when you look at things on a spreadsheet, it's very easy to say, why do a VA? Why do a home sale contingency? Oh, someone's washing their dishes or something. And why, you know what I mean? So they're just like sort of cut off the list right away.
Well, what's funny is because we all stayed late last night and Michelle came in and sort of put everything together with you and with help from Lori as well. And then her clients came in and I feel like she was in there for like 5 minutes and then she comes upstairs and says, okay, my clients have accepted an offer. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is the fastest, like I have whiplash from this, like all day it comes down to like one moment and then they're like, like I feel like they already knew what was gonna happen before they got here and they accepted something. And I'm just like, wow, when Sharon and Mary do this, it's like 8 hours later and I'm like, hello, does anyone have an answer?
That just says to me that there was a clear front runner of those offers. It was very like somebody came in and just blew everybody. It's that quintessential we had no other choice. It was an offer we couldn't refuse. Like that was the
Well, she even said, she did an offer deadline and she even said that like 7 of them came in like all at once, right at the end. And I'm like, I hate that.
Yeah.
Like I hate it.
And I think agents do that because they're afraid that we're going to use one against another and all that. But like, get over it. We don't have time to be doing that right now. Like, just give us your highest and best. Yeah. So that's what we do. So we are just about at 6:30. So that was just sort of a synopsis and an update and a review of what our show was about last week. Again, we have John on the line with us, and he is going to tell us what his experience was like. And Melissa has some really good questions for him. And again, I don't know how he's going to answer right now. I almost feel like Oprah Winfrey, and I just allowed, like, a star came on and allowed, like, you can ask any question you want.
No questions off limit.
Yeah. One thing I did want to do at the top of our show, and I'll do it right now because we're sort of at that 6:30 number, is I just wanted from myself, from my team, our team, and from the Boston Connect real estate team of realtors, we just wanted to send out our heartfelt condolences to Liz Bone and her family. And Liz is a real estate agent in the industry. She is an owner of a company as well as I am. And I have to tell you, she suffered a terrible loss this past week with her daughter. And the community really came together for her and her family. Husband, her daughter's married name is O'Shaughnessy. And I heard that Liz did the most beautiful eulogy for her daughter. She is a pillar of strength. And I know that the real estate community, I was talking to another agent from another company, and I said, it's really nice to see how we are coming together as a community of real estate agents in recognizing we are not competition, we are colleagues. And when one of us has fallen, we all feel that pain. And there were many of us that were just walking around sort of dazed at, the seriousness of the situation, and, just had a newborn baby. And it's just, it's heartwarming to see how our real estate community has come together. I am proud of all of you. And I know a lot of real estate agents listen to our show. It made me just proud to be in the circle. And again, we are sending our love, we are sending our prayers, and we are sending strength all the way to Duxbury, to Liz Bone and her family, and the O'Shaughnessy family. So God bless all of you. So with that said,
well said.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a side note. I drove through Duxbury this past weekend, so I saw all the ribbons and everything, and it was you get those moments in life where you just like sort of just sit there in silence, and you just, but the reason why
Forces you to slow down.
Yeah,
heartwarming. That just to see the community come together like that, and so again, we'll continue to pray for her and her family.
All right, so we have John joining us tonight. John, can you hear us?
Hello. Yes.
Hi.
I thought he got bashful for a second.
I know. Well, John's not his real name, so it's probably like, what?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Remember, we're giving you a fake name for tonight. Play along with us. So we have John on the phone with us. He is one of our listeners here for Talk Real Estate Roundtable, and we just wanted him to join us tonight, and hopefully he wanted to join us as well to go over his sort of experience so far with our team. John, I know that you have been a listener of ours for a while, so I guess my first question would be, what prompted you into, stopping into the office a couple weeks ago?
Well, my timing, I guess, was a little rough on you guys, and I didn't, I didn't really take that into consideration because I was driving by the Pembroke Center, and with the thought of talking to you guys, and I didn't realize that it was Tuesday at that point.
Sometimes we don't either. Sometimes we look up and it's 5:30 and you're like, what?
I was just like, oh, I'm here. It looks like, people were in there. I'm like, let's go in and get this, get some answers, I guess, is what I initially went in there for.
Yeah.
And now you're a radio star.
Yeah. So, okay. So
guess,
you were in the area. So that sort of prompted you, but was there something that maybe you were thinking about? Like, are you potentially thinking about selling your home? Is that what sort of prompted you to want to have a conversation with Sharon?
Absolutely. So as pretty much as you guys know, and I think a lot of people know that it's the seller's market right now. And I'm thinking, what prompted me was I'm thinking about possibly, it started by doing, should I do my house over?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking, okay, we're hearing about, the price of lumber and the cost of materials and getting people to do it. And I'm like, this is actually probably going to cost me a lot more than, say, a normal market.
Mm-hmm.
And so before I begin this process of remodeling, well, it's such a good seller's market, what if I just, without doing anything to it, just sell it as it is, and relieve myself of the remodeling burden. And because I'm fortunate because I do have a place that I can go to in the meantime. So that's sort of the process. Should I do it over or just sell it?
And when you were thinking about that process, were you thinking, should I do it over and stay? Or were you thinking, should I do it over to sell it?
That's a good question.
Well, thank you. I have a radio show.
I guess a little of both. I'm living here, so why not live in a nice remodeled place, or and then maybe think about selling it. I'm Yeah, I think eventually I would have been selling in five to 8 years, say, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So this may have accelerated the market may have accelerated the process.
Yeah. So you know, and correct me if I'm wrong. So you are seeing that it's a quote unquote seller's market, and potentially you could get, you know, a great value for your home if it was as is. So that was sort of a driving factor as well as all right, well, maybe instead of selling in 8 years, maybe now is the time. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way as well. You know, there have been some, you know, analysis whatever that Sharon and Mary have gone on, and you know, even last year where it was, oh, you know, in the next couple of years, but then you know, you see what's going on, and all of a sudden it's, oh no, like now is the time. Like now, I'll do it now.
Let's go on the fast track.
Yeah,
exactly.
Could you do photos yesterday?
And it's interesting because I had another couple in the office with me before John came into the office to do the second appointment, but we'll get to that afterwards. But it's interesting because John hasn't been in his home very long. So for him, it's like, what a score. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, hey, I didn't put anything really into it. He has done some things, and we uncovered a couple things. So I'm excited for him to share that in a minute. But like the other couple have been in their house for a very long time, from like 1997. You know what I mean? And for them, it's just time to move on. So that listing will be coming on the market next week.
Yeah. 97 was a great year. Titanic came out in 97. That was a great year.
You weren't born in 97, so let's not.
Yeah. Well, no, I was born in 91. Oh, well, 97 was not great because both Tupac and Biggie died. So that was the thing. But Titanic came out.
A little bit of pop culture.
Yeah, a little bit of pop culture here. Anyways, back to John, our special guest tonight. So, you know, here you are. You come in, you have a quick chat with Sharon, set up an appointment. Sharon goes out to your home. Can you sort of talk about that process of, you know, Sharon, you going out there, John, you having Sharon at your home, and sort of how you guys went through the house? Did you uncover anything? Did you?
And what were your expectations?
What were your expectations of, you know, how that first interaction at your house would be?
Interesting. I just knew from listening to her on the radio and you guys on the radio that you knew what you were doing, and so basically I just you know, had Sharon come down to check the place out with her eyes and her expertise, and because I'm looking at it, you know, my own way, which isn't necessarily the best, I guess. It is for me, but you guys are professionals, and I'm putting my trust in you guys.
And it's interesting that you say you're looking at things in one way and I'm looking at things in another way. And I do recall with our initial conversation, and I have to be honest, like I felt a little bad because when he came that first Tuesday, it was very, very sort of rushed. I was like, I'm sorry, like I got to go, like we have to get on the show. And then he was very patient because another one of our listings actually took precedence because we had so many accompanied showings and things like that. So he was so gracious about understanding that. And again, he wants to, it's funny too, because I feel that people are nervous because he doesn't know, and he may right now, but I don't even know the answer to this, if he does want to stay or if he does want to go, and they feel as if it's a waste of our time. And I always, like, they don't want to bother us almost. Yeah. And I'm like, this is what my job is. Like, I truly believe that my purpose and our purpose is to help people make a big financial decision. And whether they decide to sell their house or not, I'm hoping that I helped that person make that decision, you know, which, you know, I've talked to people out of selling their house. Sometimes it's just not the right time. But when I remember one thing you were saying, like, oh, I have like collections and I have something. And I was like, well, don't worry about that stuff, because like, I truly don't see it. And then he had told me about a couple of his collections. And it's funny because I would have never picked up on them normally. Like I would have seen them, but would have not thought much about them. But I do remember one little, like he has some cups. I'll just say that. And I was like, oh, I love that one. I love that one. And I remember you telling me about it. But I feel like he over exaggerated because I felt like, and you know, I have been into many hoarders' homes. And I do a very good job with that. I know the process. We had a 3-family hoarder, right? Yeah. So it was all 3 floors. I honestly thought, by the way that John was talking, that's what I was going to be walking into. Oh, yeah. So that's what my expectation was. And when I walked in, and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Like this? I don't see a lot of stuff.
I had done a lot of preparing because I had just a lot more stuff in the house than when you actually got here to see it, because I figured it's better to see it, to be able to see it,
yeah,
as opposed to seeing all kinds of extraneous material around. But
well, that's a great point, because at the end of the day, John, if you decided to sell your home, you'd be selling your home. You wouldn't be selling your collections. So in order for Sharon or a potential buyer to see that, there's things that have to be removed. So, whether it's the carpets from the floor so people can see the hardwood, or they can see, whatever, the curtains being taken down, or the cups or the collections, those are the things that will go with you, unless you decide to put it as part of the sale. But
and you were talking about area carpets, area rugs.
Yeah. Yep. So just being able to see exactly what it is, buyers would be purchasing.
And I always say, I go through as the eyes of a buyer, because buyers are looking for what's wrong, not for what's right. So that's how I go through.
Yeah, I think something, when we were talking about the agenda tonight, something that I had mentioned to Sharon is we hear from a lot of our clients that they want to get the house ready for us to come out. It needs to be just so. They don't want us to come out and kind of judge their houses, basically. Like, even though we're there to give it an opinion of value, they don't want us to judge them based on their house or things like that. So that was something interesting that I was talking to Sharon about earlier. Just if, was the process, was that something that you found yourself kind of thinking in your head, John, when you were like, oh, I'm going to have, this person come out and give me a market analysis? I actually want it to shine in the best light that I possibly can, hence taking out some of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, honestly, there was a little bit of that, but I didn't stress out over it. I just realized that this stuff has to go. It has to go at some point. Let's just move it out of here, get rid of it now. And I still have a long way to go, but that's my own, that's my own little process that I'll be going
at a time.
Through. But,
yeah. John, you have 2 chairs and a couch, and he doesn't have much.
I know. I'd have to get rid of something here. One of these chairs has got to go.
I already told you where I thought the 2 red chairs should go. Remember? I'm going to open up those curtains. So.
Well, that's still work in process. Yes, I have opened up the shades and let light in, and I can see outside now.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Sun, right?
Yes.
We've been getting a lot of that.
The sun comes in the windows. That's one of the reasons why, because I didn't want my collections to get faded. So I keep the sun off of them. So that's partly why my shades
I know that
I never realized I should put these up.
I know that Sharon asks a lot of questions when she goes on her appointment. So, John, were you prepared for some of the questions that she was asking? Were you surprised by anything?
Not really. No, I knew she was going to be asking questions. Absolutely. So I figured that was part of it. So.
Yeah. Well, I always find it interesting, when Sharon or Mary ask, like, oh, do you know how old the roof is? And people are like, oh, I never really thought about it. I'm not sure. Like, if they don't know the age of something, it's like you don't really think about it unless you're asked or have to think about it. So, sometimes we have to tell, buyers or buyer's agents, it's unknown. The age of these things are unknown because the seller doesn't know, but maybe they didn't know to ask when they were purchasing either.
I think that's a lot of what it is most of the time.
Yeah. So, all right. So I feel like we talked a lot about the first meeting. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about when you went to his house, Sharon?
So I gave some staging ideas as well when I was in the house, not really staging, but there was some things.
Like where to put the red chairs?
Yeah, where to put the red chairs. Actually, we talked about that afterwards. But were there any, like things or information that maybe I gave you while you were there that prompted you to further investigate?
Yes, absolutely. So I have these beautiful vintage carpets that are probably 35 years old, and they were initially I was going to take them up as soon as I moved in, but I ended up bringing stuff in and putting stuff on top of the carpet, and it became a lot more difficult to move. So I just kind of forgot about it and lived with it. And then Sharon happened to mention, well, why don't you take a corner up and see what you have under there? And so I took her advice. A couple of days later, I pulled the corner up and found that it is a hardwood floor underneath the living room.
Surprise. I was so excited when he told me that when he came in for the second appointment.
You love your older hardwood floors too. That's awesome.
Well, what I said to him too was, are you sure that there isn't hardwood under here? Because I could almost feel like a level difference,
Oh, right.
And he said, no, I definitely don't think so, because look at this area over here. And I said, sometimes that's the pad.
An area. Yeah, I felt an area in the floor that I thought there was an imperfection in the floor, and I wasn't going to take the carpet up because I didn't want to discover imperfections on the floor. So, but she had mentioned that it could be the underlayments bunched up or something, and that's exactly what it was. And there's no imperfections. It was that underlayment. She was right on right there.
Yeah. See, if you didn't know, then the buyers would have moved in and ripped up those carpets and found those beautiful hardwood floors.
Exactly. And now, that's the thing. He said it's like 35-year-old carpet. It's like green, and then I think it's a gold in the bedroom, in one of the bedrooms, and those floors have been protected for 35 years.
Yeah.
It's like so exciting.
Really, really nice.
So the smaller bedroom that has the other carpet, because there was two carpets in the house, and the smaller bedroom, I took that corner up, and that also was a hardwood floor under that as well.
Yay! We need a big cheering sound in the background, like yay! That's so exciting.
I heard that audience in the very beginning of the show.
Yeah. I was really excited about that when he told me, and that's the thing. When I loved that John was very open to some of my suggestions and some of my thoughts when I was in the house. One thing too is John is a wonderful photographer. So he is, he had some really, really nice photos that he had taken himself.
Wow.
And some other pictures and things like that he had in his house that I really, really liked. So, and he had them out on the back porch, and I was like, why are they out here? They're so nice. But so let's get back to, okay, so we have to rush up.
10 minutes left.
The second appointment.
Yeah, so let's move on to the second appointment. So John, when you came into our office, Sharon went over her market analysis with you. What information did you find most useful out of your second meeting with Sharon?
Well, there was a lot.
Sorry about that.
Were you here till midnight?
I'm a data geek. He was here with me on a Friday night until 9:15. I should have got us Chinese food.
So it was after work, so I was already kind of at my end of the day anyway. But but the information was really interesting and very informative, and I could tell a lot of time went into what she had done, had prepared, it's. I'm just looking at some of the stuff. It's just a lot of good information and current information, and not just 6 months. It was 3 months, and both of them, and so you can really get a good handle of what the market is currently like.
And do you think like the approach that I take when I do my analysis is, you know, I don't really spend a lot of time on fluff. I don't spend time on all the marketing, and we do all of that. We know how to sell homes. I don't talk about how many houses our team has sold. And like I mentioned it because I always say to people, you know, I don't have a nice graph. I don't have all these statistics. If you want that information, I'll certainly get it for you. But, you know, I'd rather spend the time, you know, really analyzing what the numbers are, how we get to that number, and really help, you know, the people make, you know, our clients make a decision on where they should price the home to gain the most from it. So that's why, and again, I don't really want to apologize for spending so much time on it because I think it's important.
No, absolutely. And another thing I noticed is that you actually enjoy it. It looks like you are enjoying it. Like you're trying to dig up more information, even though everything you've already dug up. It's like, oh, what is this? Why can't we? You know,
I can literally see her face in my eyes. I can see it in my mind exactly how excited she gets when she's going through this stuff.
Oh, it was amazing though, because we were looking at one of the comps, and I was like, why is it that this house didn't sell over asking? I couldn't figure it out. Why was this house on the market so long? And I didn't I figured it out too. I don't really want to say on the air, but yeah.
But there was a reason, and you found it.
Yes, I will share that afterwards, but I don't want to get sued in the meantime.
You're a real estate detective.
Yeah.
All right. So you had a very great second meeting with Sharon here at the office. You know, your meeting, that's our 5-minute bell. Your meeting with Sharon, did you feel after you left, or do you feel now you have gotten the information that you needed to make a decision if you are deciding to stay or go?
Yes, absolutely. And I'd like to add before it's over is I never felt rushed. I always felt comfortable. I even during that first meeting when I came in and everything was so hectic and everything, I felt like I was the number one person in the number one client. And as time went on, it even seemed to, you know, it really seemed that way. You know, even I realized that there were other things going on, and she was meeting with someone. I came a little early, and she waved, but you know, she saw me, but I always felt like it was, you know, everything was good, very good. I felt like I was an important client.
Oh,
who knows? I might.
I was just going to say, you got to see Sharon's office. Not a lot of people get to see
I
that.
know. Not many people make it up to the second floor. We brought you up to the penthouse.
Yeah, you were in the corner office up there.
And even seeing the studio, that was an added bonus. I was like, this is where the show's done.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm so glad that you had that welcoming feeling because, you know, over the fireplace, when we first moved in here in 2019, Melissa came up with the motto, a home to call our own. And really, truly, that's how, you know, our team and all of our agents here want our clients to feel that way at the end of the day. And that's, you know, I felt a little rushed, and again, not rushed, but like, I felt bad that I knew that you were waiting up in my office, but I was with that other couple, and they deserved the attention and just sort of moving everybody around.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you did that. You were very patient, honestly.
And very quiet. It's almost like we forgot. Like Mary didn't even know you were up there. You were so quiet.
I had a little housekeeping on my phone.
Yeah. We just have a couple more minutes. You don't have to tell anybody what your decision is, but I just wanted to know if you had, thought about a decision afterwards. And you said that you did you've sort of decided. So that's good.
That's the goal.
We did our job.
That's whether it's one way or the other, we don't care. Our job is to help you get to that decision. And it's not all on you, you know?
So we have a few more minutes here, but during this whole entire process, is there anything that you think that I could have, or my team could have done better to better serve you through this process?
Not really. Everyone was really was excellent. Melissa, Mary, and you. It was just the whole place was very inviting, and no, there was really, it was perfect.
Awesome. Well, we'll have you anytime.
Yeah, you can welcome anytime.
Well,
any final
thoughts for John? John, we really appreciate you coming on. Some of the feedback that we get from our listeners is when we have, real people on. So the show that we did with Renee, who is one of Mary and Sharon's buyers, who closed on our property. She was a guest, and people loved that show because it was real. It was part of the process, and that's part of the reason why we wanted to have you on. Not just because we like you, like you, John.
We like you, John.
But we wanted to have you on and sort of share your experience, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And we're glad that it was good for you.
Really glad. This is live.
I'm glad I was able to contribute to this. I'm glad I was able to contribute to the show that I listened to it.
Yes.
So
yeah.
And since you called in, you know our deal here. We end up sending you a gift card, right, for $25 to Dunkin' Donuts. So we'll make sure we get that in the mail. I happen to know your address, by the way.
You know where I live.
Yes, I do. I certainly do. Well, John, again, thank you for calling in. And again, you know how to reach us. So if you have any questions, feel free, to just say, hey, we're texting buddies now anyway. So again, we're really grateful that you took the time to do this and that you stopped in to see us. And if you do decide to sell, we would be honored to be your team. And if you decide not to sell, well, we're so happy that we gave you the information that you needed to make that decision.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. Thank you so much, John.
Okay. Well, we'll be in touch soon, and thank you for having me.
All right. Perfect. I do want to see those hardwood floors, my friend. So have a great night, John.
Well, thank you so much to all of our listeners for tuning in to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. We will be back next Tuesday. What's our topic, you guys?
We're going
waiving home inspection contingency.
Yeah, if you're going to waive that home inspection contingency, what you should be looking at while you're looking at the house.
Yeah.
And final walkthroughs.
Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody.